Greetings and welcome fellow builders and constructors. In our last video we went through how to create an unlimited amount of ferrite dust and pure ferrite for most of our base construction needs. In this video we're going to put the full use of that in creating our next base of operation. This will be a practical application of how to use your base to do things from making you money to harvesting as much resources like oxygen or general minerals as you need. Now firstly, before building your base, I highly recommend spending some time scavenging the planets to get the whole frap ton of salvage technology. Now I do apologise as this must be the longest, most grueling process. However, once you have about 200 to 300 units, you can then take them up to the Nexus and exchange them for technology. Another way is by following the mission quests given out by the base computer, which is split up into adopting several alien characters that give out quests in their respective fields, such as farming or vehicle or even base construction. Now, going forward, I'm assuming that you have a basic understanding of base building as well as the technology needed to build. If I start talking about an item that you currently can't make, simply get some more salvage units and get the needed technology from the Nexus. Okay, so let's get started in building our base. First, we will need to find the right location. And as they say, location, location, location. What do you want your base to do? I mean, I got very lucky when I set up this base here on planet GT. I didn't know about deep scanning at the time, but thankfully I discovered later that I was currently near a copper mine, an electromagnetic field and an oxygen gas pocket. On most planets, different deposits are very far apart, so you will need to be very picky as to where you want to set up. Okay, so let's decide what type of base we're going to build. In this case, let's make a money-making base, one that also harvests oxygen, so I can keep my equipment charged and can use to make more ferrite when needed. Now, to make money, we will need to mine a very expensive material, like active indium. For that, we are going to need a blue system. If you haven't got an indium drive installed on your ship, then you can always use your freighter to warp to the system. If, however, you don't have a freighter, you can always get one for free. After about your 6th jump, you will trigger an event where a freighter is under attack. Fight off the attacking pirates and the freighter owner will just give you their freighter. But this is only available for the first one. After this, you will need to buy the next freighter. Okay, so you've got your warp ship of your choice. It is now time to hop over to a respectable looking blue system. I recommend one that has a high economy value, noted by the 3 dots on the left hand side, and also by its description on the right hand side. If it's wealthy, if it's prosperous and so on, it might be an idea to look out for that. If you are traveling by starship, you may need an economy scanner installed to get to this level of detail. Once you're in the system, quickly scan all the planets to see if you can find a suitable one to set up camp on. Now, on each scan, you will see 3 types of materials that are common on that planet. The top one being the most common. All 3 of these will come up when you're doing your deep surface scanning. So hopefully we can find a good one with a good source of indium. Also, it would be a good idea to have a planet with a habitable atmosphere, or maybe even no atmosphere, such as maybe a paradise or bountiful planet, maybe even a moon. If you go for something with extreme conditions like a radiation planet or scorched planet, then you'll need extra protection as you'll be fending off constant environmental attacks every moment you're out there in the open. If that's no problem, then please feel free and go ahead, as you can always take shelter in the construction where we're building. One more thing to note, at this point, even paradise planets are also susceptible to severe weather. now and again, of like over maybe 150 degrees Celsius. So even though you might have a good choice, it may still get a little bit rainy out there. Okay, now you have found your ideal planet. It may have taken several jumps to find it, but you have decided for whatever reason you want this one. So let's go ahead and land on it. Once you have exited and saved your game, I recommend putting down a vehicle if you can, as we have a lot of distance to travel. As you can now put down a geobay without a base, just create one and immediately pick it back up again. You'll keep most of the resources and have just spawned your vehicle of choice. Hopefully, at this point you have already got the deep surface scanner for the Nexus. If not, then back in your ship and up into space to go and get it. For those who already have it, simply go into scan mode and change to deep surface scan by pressing right. Here the screen will have changed to a deep orange colour and will be scanning for one of three things: gas, mineral or electromagnetic. The gas is a cloud symbol with a spark under it, the mineral a pickaxe, and the electromagnetic field will be a lightning bolt. On the left it will show a grade, as usual C being the lowest and S being the highest. This is just the amount the extractor can extract. It doesn't matter how much, because we are just going to make so many extractors that the only thing limiting us will be the storage units that we put up. And finally, in the center of the screen is an indicator of which direction the next location is and the approximate distance. However, when you get to in about 3 feet of the scanner will start to analyze the deposit and give you more exact information. So to clear some things up, the glass cloud will more often than not be oxygen. Doesn't matter which planet you're on, there's always a chance for oxygen here. Disclaimer, that's just from my experience so far. I mean, I could be wrong, as I haven't been on every single planet in the entire universe yet. There are other gases out there like radon and such, but oxygen is the more common one. Next one is the mineral deposit. This will be your money maker, as you will need to find these to get your indium or whatever material that you're looking for. Remember that the 3 materials we saw on the planet scan, one of them will be the thing that's inside that deposit once you've analyzed it. And lastly is the electromagnetic field. This is where you can get free unlimited energy without relying on generators and solar panels. Now, ideally it would be best finding a mineral deposit next to an electromagnetic field. And if you spend some time searching, I'm sure you'll be able to find 2 next to each other. However, on some planets, deposits are far enough apart that it might be a little tricky setting up the base point where you can cover the needed deposits. However, I have found some planets where the deposits are less than 500 meters apart, which is great because if you set up in the right location, you can cover at least 3 deposits. My base on Planet GT in the VR community system has a copper mine, an oxygen farm, and powered by an electromagnetic field. Here is the planetary coordinates if you want to come by and say hi. I can't say I know for sure what sets a planet to have very dense deposit spread, like if it's a small or large planet, but Planet GT is a paradise planet, so that might have something to do with this. And this one that you're seeing at the moment has been a tropical planet. So maybe some of the more temperate or idealistic planets could have more denser deposits spread. So on this planet we are currently setting up on, I did a little bit of searching around and unfortunately I didn't find an oxygen deposit. However, I did find an indium deposit very near an electromagnetic field. This is just great for what we need. But if needed later, we could always set up some oxygen processor units or just pop over to one of my other bases that have large oxygen extraction facilities. Okay, so you have found your site and you're ready to pitch. So put down your base computer and let's get started. First things first, I do however like to put down a 3x1 set of small rooms and a door so I can take cover quickly if a storm picks up. Also add a market terminal inside the room. Sometimes this can give you quick access to things like metal plates and microchips without the needing to craft each one painfully and slowly. A save point, because we don't want the game to crash and lose all of our work now, do we? And also a portal or gate or whatever you like to call these. I like to call them portals. So we put this down so we can connect to the rest of the bases when needed and have an easy way back here. Now, to set up the portal, I recommend putting down a couple of solar panels and battery next to it on its own circuit. Then connect the circuit to a proximity detector before plugging it into the portal. That way, if you are relying on solar panels for your electricity rather than an unlimited electromagnetic field, then you can keep a charge for the portal in the batteries even during the night time and only use it up when you're near the portal. For example, like when you want to walk to another base. This technique is also good to use for your main building as well as a market terminal. When you're away from the area, the batteries are charging up, but turn on when you get close to it. This base you see here is the portal base that I've set up on Planet GT. As you can see, the portal storage areas, market terminal and even the lightings for the base light up only when I'm near. That way, even though I'm using solar panels, the base is fully functional even at night. Right, we have laid down the basic foundation of the base and now it's time to get some power to it. You're going to need power before anything works, and I recommend starting with at least 2,000 units. Give or take, depending on the size of your base you're going to use. First up, build a single battery near the entrance to your building. The reason being is later we will not only use this as an access point for the electrical cables, but also so we can easily monitor the power grid from here. When building up your base and it suddenly goes offline, you can see here how many units you're over. Also, additionally, if you're using a solar panel, you may want to put down one next to the battery so you can quickly check how much daylight time or night time is left. Now, if you were lucky to set up a base near an electromagnetic field, then this time to build as many pylons on top or as close to the field as possible. The closer you are to the field, the more electricity is generated. Too far away and you won't get anything. Now, these do generate a fair amount compared to the other generators, and so you won't need as many. But in my opinion, you can never have too much power. If, however, you're going with solar panels because the option of a mag field was not available, then I recommend of making at least twice as many generators as batteries. You are going to need to charge those batteries if you want things to keep working overnight. Try to make a field of a 10 by 10, but seriously, just keep making solar panels until things turn on. Then make some more batteries to get charged. Also, when building, I recommend building a few batteries first, hook them up, and build a few panels and connect them to the batteries. That way, they're at least charging up as you're building your power field. Once you have created all the batteries and panels and have hooked them all up, or you have completed your EM field generators, then take a final connecting cable and attach it to the one back at the base. Lastly, connecting the battery to the building, and we are now powered up. Okay, now let's move on to the mining industry. Firstly, just like we put the battery near the building for the electricity, we're going to need to put a storage unit by our base. This will be our pickup container. It may be a good idea to color code it to the mineral or item that we're storing in it. In this case, for indium, I'm going to make it blue before we head on over to the mining site. Like the EM fields, the closer to the site, the more resources each mineral extractor will harvest. However, unlike the EM field, I recommend having at least twice as many storage units than miners. These extractors will keep going when you're not there for as long as they have power. Even when you have turned off the game, these will continue mining. If, however, the power goes out, say during the night shift, they will shut down until the power comes back on again. As you can expect, this will slow down the process. However, if say you turn the game off for the night and then come back the next day, you'll find that your storage units have been filled while you were sleeping. So the extractors will also stop when your storage units are full. In this case, it is best to have as many storage units as possible and at least about 10 mineral extractors. So the extractors will also stop when your storage units are full. In this case, it's best to have as many storage units as possible and at least about 10 mineral extractors. My active indium base currently pulls in approximately 52 million units worth each day, and it's only a small base. If you expanded it, you can easily make over 100 million each day just by sleeping and transporting the stuff you pick up from the container to the market terminal that's set up inside the base. That reminds me, after setting up your extractors an extensive field of storage units, don't forget to wire them all up and then connect it to the battery at the front. You can also connect the electricity cable to the side of the building, but you may want to expand the building at a later point. Now, finally, pipe everything together. Connect all the extractors to each other, as well as the storage containers, and then once they're all connected, feed one pipe all the way back to the storage container near the base. The pickup container. All the containers that are connected by pipes are shared area, and as you add new storage units, you'll see the total available storage go up, and so from the pickup container you can grab all the stored material from all the containers without having to go around each one. Neat, huh? If you were lucky enough to get another deposit like oxygen, you should do exactly the same with that. Create a pickup container near the base before proceeding to create all the gas extractors and storage units for the deposit. Now we have the basic operation of this base underway. We have the power and mining going on. It's time to build this base up, to make it something unique to you. I myself like to make facilitated starports, lots of launch platforms for aliens to land, refiners to mix things up a little, and of course, market terminals to buy and sell stuff. When constructing your basic base, a lot of people start with wooden structures and then move on to large rooms and corridors because they give off a more prefab feel. Now, I'm not saying don't use this. If it gives the right sort of atmosphere that you're looking for, then go for it. My preference is using small block rooms, simply because they're so versatile to use. You saw how quickly it was to set up a 3x1 shelter at the start of creating this. 3 rooms next to each other, a door to enter, and bam, you're done. No putting down a floor, then each walls before a roof, just one room and that's it. It gives a sort of a Minecraft feel to building homes with square blocks, but sometimes we like that sort of thing. Also, when using large rooms, there are some limits in what you can use it in, like putting in stairs to a second level, putting in farms and so on. When creating a large area by putting multiple small rooms next to each other, an entire cornucopia of designs, features, layouts are all open up to you. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to play a short montage of my designs I've created in No Man's Sky for you. Each one has their own unique usage, styles and designs. Please enjoy. As you can see, I have many bases. One for mining active indium for money, one for gathering oxygen. I have bases for making magnetized ferrite, as well as bases that help me make ferrite dust, bases for refueling, bases near golden markets, and even bases to harvest gold and silver so I can refine nanites. I have a community base and even an ancient portal base. Each one helps me build up my game character and gets me things when I need it. If I can't get it, then I'm not too far away from being able to get it. I feel the base building is one of the more advanced and important features of this game, one that should not be overlooked but embraced. A lot of people say they don't need a base because they just set everything they need up on their freighter, but I feel they are missing out on so much. You don't get views like this from inside a freighter. Also, if you were paying attention to earlier, yes, that was nanites you saw coming out of that refiner. But that's what I'm going to talk about in the next video, in part 3. I'm going to talk about the ways you can make nanite clusters, and what works best, and how the system was updated in patch 2.11. Well, thanks very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as I have in creating it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys out there.